So not only is there a crisis among, working class Canadians on this migration scam on the cheap foreign labor market, but there's also a scam emerging with student visas. These international students that are coming into our Canadian colleges, and the Canadian colleges are eating it up because they have to pay more in tuition fees, which is making more capital for them. Well, this came about, this is from the Globe and Mail, and it says more than 10,000 foreign student acceptance letters may be fake, says top immigration official. This is back from November of 2024. And it goes on here. This, by the way, I know this is Business Standard because the Globe and Mail, I couldn't access it for some reason. So the Business Standard pretty much just repeats what the Globe and Mail tells us. So just don't be worried by that. Canada's Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada has uncovered over 10,000 fraudulent student acceptance letters this year, according to a report by the Globe and Mail. The revelation follows insignificant scrutiny of international student applications, with 500,000 documents reviewed in 2024 under stricter verification measures. According to media reports, approximately 80% of these fake letters were linked to students from Gujarat and Punjab. The crackdown comes after a 2023 incident where international students were issued fraudulent acceptance letters by an unlicensed consultant in India, leading to the deportation risks. To address such incidences, Canada now requires designated learning institutions, that's colleges, universities, to verify acceptance letters through an online portal. Bronwyn May, Director General of the IRCC's International Students Branch, told a parliamentary committee that the verification process flagged fraudulent documents in 2% cases, while another 1% involved canceled admissions. Jenny Kwan, Canada's New Democratic Party immigration critic, describes the findings as extremely alarming. Canada has a responsibility to ensure that international students who have been defrauded are protected, Kwan told the Globe and Mail. Concerns have also grown over potential complicity by some educational institutions, as several colleges and universities reportedly failed to authenticate letters. IRCC has introduced a rule requiring students to obtain a new study permit if they wish to transfer institutions. The goal, according to the IRCC, is to safeguard the integrity of the international student program and protect students from financial and legal vulnerabilities. This change is within line with the important work we have been doing to strengthen the integrity of the international student program, IRCC said in a press release on November 15th. So, they're at least reporting on this scandal. They're reporting that there's a absolute kind of absurdity, that there's a mistrust, that there's a misguidance, that there's a complete scandal corruption involving this kind of illegal smuggling of students into this country that don't have the proper paperwork, that don't have the proper standing, and colleges get away with it because, hey, I'm getting more in tuition bucks, so why would I care? Why would I care about, where the student came from and what courses they're taking? But there's also been growing scandals beyond that we covered previously about how they're using student visas as a way to get into the country on a legal temporary basis to then migrate themselves into the United States. We saw that report done by CHCH News talking about how people make fraudulent documents, pose themselves as students, pose themselves as workers, temporary workers, and then come into this country in that form to migrate to the United States illegally. But here is another scandal in part with this. And the reason I'm going to show you this is, again, I don't put the blame on the migrants. I know people like to judge and jump to that ship of, oh, these people are just stealing our jobs. No, this is part of a greater scandal. This is part of the billionaire class, the corporations, the college institutions, the higher-ups that have full control and power to regulate this, to stop this, but they don't do it because they're part of this exploitation. They capitalize off it and they screw over people just like us, just like them. 9 ways to Sunday. So here is this incident. This is from CBC News. Some foreign workers paying $30,000 or more in illegal fees for a job in Alberta. Immigration experts are sounding the alarm over the scam. And here's some of the article here. It says the scheme can involve employers, immigration consultants, and recruiters who sometimes work together to promise jobs to temporary foreign workers, often for tens of thousands of dollars. They sell labor market impact assessments. That's a federal document most employers need before they can hire a temporary foreign worker, providing they cannot fill the job with a Canadian or permanent resident for at least 28 days. So that document has also been under investigation because there's a lot of major corporations who, again, do their own fraudulent claims, do this kind of rhetoric. They have their own corruption to then say and lie to the Canadian government. Oh, I can't hire anybody. I can't hire, Canadian workers. So that's why I need to get more temporary workers. Even though there is documentation that shows that they didn't try to reach out to Canadian workers. They didn't purposely hire Canadian workers. Or they laid off a bunch of people. They laid off a bunch of Canadian workers who were getting, good pay and union benefits. They purposely did that to then use this as a tool, as a mechanism to be part of the scam to import cheap labor. It's illegal to change for an LMIA under Canadian immigration laws. The government fee for an LMIA application is $1,000. Should be fully covered by the employer who is facing a labor shortage. Because temporary foreign workers permits are tied to their employers, they've already spent thousands to get the job. They could be more vulnerable to further abuse. Calgary-based immigration lawyer Jan Shori, who has worked with clients who have charges up to $75,000, calls extreme cases of the scam a form of pseudo-slavery. Funny how that keeps coming up. Just like that UN report just said, just like what other people have mentioned, just like what I've been saying, that what we're doing here is a form of globalized New Age slavery. This is pseudo-slavery. It doesn't look like that because this ain't the 1800s where Abraham Lincoln's going to free the slaves. It doesn't look like that, but this is what they're implementing. They're trying to screw over the workforce, undermine the value of employees to these employers to bring in these migrants for cheaper labor. That's exactly what's happening. It's a pseudo form of slavery. And you think with the prison industrial complex, that would already be enough for them. But no, they have to implement this too. He says he's been seen instances where employers claw back salary as a way for workers to pay their debt if they can't pay the full fee up front. And when it's time to apply for permanent residency, he says many of these employers charge even more money. So, again, the reason I'm showing you this is to remind people that the migrants are also getting screwed in this. That even though it looks like they're getting all these bribes, and the fact that Doug Ford announced that he's going to get $1,000 to every person for hotel stay and all this stuff. Again, all those bribes are in part with this, are in part with this scam. That they're trying to shut these people up before they get into the job market and realize that, oh, I'm being part of this exploitive market. I'm being part of this human trafficking, smuggling, pseudo-slavery workplace. And I'm undermining Canadian workers and then having the media fire up again, pillarizing each other instead of going after the people that are purposely exploiting everybody. Just like how Tim Hortons, just like Amazon, just like Walmart, just like all these mega corporations that they know they can actually hire Canadians. They know for a fact they can. They just choose not to. They choose not to. They play the system. They rig it up. They make fraudulent claims. They then beg the government, please, 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 you got to bring in more migrants. Exactly for this. Because it's all about making a quick buck off the disparity of somebody else. It's off the disparity of foreign people. It's off the disparity of people that did probably want to leave their homeland. Probably would have been happier and safer and healthier staying in their territory, but because of our heinous billionaire class that just doesn't give a damn about anything, completely exploits it for every single person. That's what all this is about. And I put this, reiterate that I don't blame migrants. I think of them as human beings the same way I view our people. That we're all part of this agenda. We're all part of this exploitation. And what we need to do is examine the root causes of all this so we can actually go after the right people and make reform decisions so we can have proper border security, so we can have proper immigration. Because the people that went through the hoops and ladders to come into this country are also pissed off of this. They're also pissed off. How come I have to, raise $30,000 and prove all these documents, but yet people are getting flown in and provide a hotel stay by the government? Why is that the case? It's all part of an exploitive game, and it's because the billionaires do not give a damn about you.